Welcome to CWDI Games. So I'm an indie dev. I have games on Steam, working on another game that's going to be on Steam. I've also branched out into tabletop games. Created Wizardbane, a new fantasy role-playing game tabletop experience. You can visit wizardbane.com to learn more about Wizardbane. And I'm also creating Theta Tek. Because I'm a fan of BattleTech, I also believe BattleTech needs some competition. So here is box art for Theta Tek. So what is Theta Tek? Well, it's not mechs, it's power armor. And this is on a different timeline. So in this timeline, John F. Kennedy was not assassinated, and he went on to do great things. So in this timeline, in the year 2016, Elon Musk set up a colony on Mars. Because things happened in the 1980s, 1990s, where technology advanced further than our timeline. The power armor that's now used for combat in the future in the Theta Tek universe is called Thetagons. And a new power source, technology for power generation, was created that's not nuclear fusion. The Thetagons use. And there are beam weapons, slug throwers, missiles, but it's not BattleTech. It has different game mechanics. Weapons behave differently. And some Thetagons, some power armor units can fly. And there's different type of armor. There's standard armor, heavy armor, and then a faction in the game has developed heavier armor, and another faction in the game has developed armor which negates damage from beam weapons or energy weapons. Still takes damage, but not the full amount. But Thetagon's power armor, using that type of armor, if they get hit with kinetic weapons, it does more than 100% damage from the kinetic weapons. As you can see from this image, you can equip Thetagons with turrets, weapons on turrets, which can then swivel and shoot things in the rear or on the side. Now the game is going to come with 2 blank hex maps, just like Earth tone blank hex maps, and it will come with several hex pieces like this. This is part of the instruction book, which I'm writing up. And so these will be actually physical hex pieces that you can place on the board. And this isn't all of the pieces that will be available that will come with it. Just showing these right now. So you can design your own maps right off the bat. I'm going to show some of the Thetagon designs I have that will ship with the game. So this is the Ranger, and you can see the pilot here. What's the size of the Thetagons? They're about the size of a Locust in the BattleTech universe. And you use modules. So you have weapon modules you can attach, and there are certain space requirements. In Theta Tek, it uses a different power source besides nuclear fusion, nuclear power. It's not generating heat, so you have a certain amount of power you start with, and when you do actions, move, fire weapons, then at the end of every turn, based on what type of power cell you have, you will generate a certain number of power points again. Of course, if you get down to 0, you're going to shut down. Not a good thing. And you will, of course, power back up, but it takes some time for your power cell to generate enough power to power up your Thetagon again. So the Ranger has a 100mm cannon on a turret and carries a shotgun, so for long and short range combat. Then we have the Jacked Rabbit Scout Thetagon. It has 2 missile systems, and it has 2 laser weapons. Now in Theta Tek, you can actually use extra power, your laser weapons, to increase the range and increase the damage they do for a combat round. And the missile systems in this game allow you to target, like in BattleTech, if you're shooting through a wooded area, it's going to get a penalty for being able to hit. In Theta Tek, the missile technology is different than just line of sight and, all right, we're shooting through this, let's add modifiers. Missiles have targeting systems that allow you to avoid, like, going through a wooded area, but in doing that, it decreases the range. So you have the option in Theta Tek of shooting through a dense wooded area and adding the modifier to hit, or using the advanced targeting systems that will limit the range of the missiles, but it will avoid problematic areas. This is the Ciężki Napastnik. I'm not pronouncing that right.
Ciężki Napastnik.
Thank you. 2 missile launchers, 2 laser weapons. The Jacked Rabbit has 2 lighter laser weapons. These do more damage and have a longer range. This is the T900. It has 2 heavy weapons. In the BattleTech universe, this would be equivalent to having 2 AC-20s, but it's not the same thing in Theta Tek. These are 2 200mm cannons, not on turrets. This is a Wraith, another scout Thetagon, like the Jacked Rabbit. Lightly armored, goes fast, has the biggest laser. Power requirements for this laser weapon are immense. So this Thetagon is meant to run around on the battlefield and take occasional shots of opportunity. Then we have the Infidel, has 2 shotgun weapons, 1 on each arm. And in this game, shotguns, you get really close. They do a whole lot of damage. So yeah, pilots that have kamikaze tendencies are good for this Thetagon. Then we have the Amazon from the Atlantis faction. On each arm, it has a 150mm cannon, and then it has a laser weapon on a turret, and it's also equipped with the module that can help camouflage it when it's active. And it does use power when it's active, but it'll make it harder to be hit. Then we have the Shuriken, which can fly. Well, if it's being used by the faction Ancestry from Japan. Not all factions have the technology to have their Thetagons fly. It has 2 laser weapons on its shoulders, and yes, you can also do physical attacks in this game as well, but it's set up to take into account, like when you punch or kick another Thetagon, you're going to get damage as well just by doing that. You both take damage, of course. The one doing the punching and the kicking takes less damage. And there's also a part in the book, instruction manual, that instructs you how to build your own Thetagon. So this is still in development, but it's in the end stages of development.